about Van Halen. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is a channel where we talk about rock and roll music, classic rock and roll music, not a history and not an in-depth. I'm not a music historian or even a professional musician, but mostly for people who have never heard classic rock and are wanting to get into it, whether you're a reactor on YouTube or just a listener and want to learn about classic rock. So today, like I said, we're talking about Van Halen. But before we get into that, I need you to like and subscribe. It's a painless process. It's as simple as pushing your finger down on a little button on the screen. And there you are. You've done it. You've helped me stay on the air. So Van Halen, as far as their genre, well, definitely rock and roll. It's hard rock and roll, heavy metal, pop rock, even glam rock, and or glam metal, I guess you'd say. Members of Van Halen was, well, headed by Eddie Van Halen, one of the best guitarists ever. Kind of, I don't know if he invented tapping, but he definitely perfected tapping, and unfortunately died in 2020. His brother, Alex Van Halen, on drums. You know, when you look at the best drummers of rock and roll, he's going to end up on the list. Michael Anthony was on bass. And as far as singers, well, we went through a couple of them. First was David Lee Roth, one of the most enthusiastic, just charismatic people you could ever put on stage. Very physically active on stage, jumping around, and just had a great voice. I mean, he could do a squeal like very few people. David was with the band from 1974 to 85. And from that point, we took over with Sammy Hagar, already famous in his own right, not only as a vocalist, but as a guitarist. But he was with the group from 85 to 96. 1978, they released their self-titled first album. And yeah, this album has a lot of memories for me. I remember having it on an 8-track tape, riding around, going to school and everything in high school, riding around in an old souped up Cougar and playing this album at full volume, and the very first song comes at you, just it's the first sounds you ever hear from this band, and it's unforgettable. Definitely there's a lot of standout songs on this album. Running with the Devil, Eruption, and now Eruption's a song you're going to get early requests for if you're a reactor. There is a version of it that everybody reacts to, and it's definitely the one to do it with. It's a very long solo, but it shows off some of the best musicianship you ever see coming out of a heavy metal guitarist. You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love, Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk is a hidden gem out of there. It's just shredding. And Ice Cream Man, another hidden gem, which I really, it's just one of my favorite early songs. Van Halen 2 came out in '79, covered You're No Good, Dance the Night Away, Somebody Get Me a Doctor is a hidden gem there, and Beautiful Girls, very much a heavily played radio song. 1980, Women and Children First. Take Your Whiskey Home, I think, is a good, I'd classify as a hidden gem. And The Cradle Will Rock, definitely not a hidden one. And Everybody Wants Some, definitely good songs to listen from that and to react to. 1981, Fair Warning. So This Is Love and Mean Street are definitely the standouts from that album. 1982, Diver Down. By this time, they had really become kind of the staples of the new 80s rock. Where Have All the Good Times Gone is it's unusually good song. I don't know how to really describe it. Oh Pretty Woman, another cover, but another cover was Dancing in the Streets, and both those songs were big hits for them. Okay, in 1984, they came out with 1984. Standouts from this is Jump, Panama, and Hot for Teacher. Now, I will say that Hot for Teacher is the standout song for me. And a lot of it's because, I mean, there's a lot of shredding on this from Eddie, but the drum intro is probably the best drum intro I've ever heard for a rock and roll song. And the music video that pretty much everybody reacts to was the music video, the official music video released at the time. Unfortunately, that video, well, to me, it's very, very cheesy, but it also distracts from and kind of hides the drum intro, which I would argue is the best part of the song. So I recommend just listening to the song from the studio album rather than watching the music video on this. Watch the music video later if you want to see what everybody's talking about, because yeah, there's a reason it's called Hot for Teacher. And as I've pointed out many times before in my videos, rock and roll is mostly about sex. So don't get your panties in a bunch. 1986 saw the first album with Sammy Hagar taking the lead, and it's called 5150, not 5150. This is the first #1 album they had out of 4 in a row on the Billboard charts. So, you know, as good as the band was before Sammy Hagar, as far as chart toppers, he took them right up there. The one song that I would point out on this album to listen to or react to is Why Can't This Be Love? 1988's OU 812. And yeah, I'm going to put it up there. That's how it's pronounced. Yeah, they had some unusual names for their albums, but that's how it's pronounced, OU 812. Songs from that album is Finish What You Started and When It's Love. In 1991, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, another unusual name, but Pound Cake, Top of the World, and Right Now. Now, as far as music video goes, I think Right Now, I mean, a lot of 80s videos were just stupidly cheesy. This one was not. This one was thought-provoking and just really well done. And not a hard rock song, definitely not, but a good song nonetheless. All right, in the next 3 albums, I don't have any standouts for you, but they're good albums nonetheless. 1995's Balance, 98's Van Halen 3, and 2012's A Different Kind of Truth. All right, as far as live stuff, as I alluded to before, there's a live version of Eruption that everybody reacts to. It's from New Haven in 1986. And it's a good one. It's a good one to listen to. There may be others out there, and if you want to explore that, great. But you know, as far as tried and true, this one's a good one to listen to. There's other, like I said, most of their stuff on YouTube is full concerts, so you're not going to find a lot of clips. We're going to close it out now. Like and subscribe. Please keep me on the air. I want to keep bringing this to you. It's got to help somebody. I mean, I'm starting to get a few views now. So next time we're going to talk about the Rolling Stones. You're going to enjoy this. They were one of the British invasion bands and one of the more gritty British invasion bands. Definitely not the Beatles. So until then, let the good times roll.